Is Bing going to be a good advertising platform for your plumbing company? Well, that sounds like a question we should ponder. So let's do it.
It's the Mammoth Plumber Podcast with Tyler Williams, the marketing man.
All right, so the biggest thing about looking at advertising platforms always comes to what kind of audience is on it and whether or not that matches you. So let's talk about that first. Bing is largely the second stringer search engine of the internet. Maybe ChatGPT is getting there, but Bing probably still holds a greater influence. So Google is up here if you're looking at market share, and Bing is down here. That doesn't mean that Bing doesn't have users, and it doesn't mean that Bing doesn't have users that you want to be users of your company, which is the primary reason we're even talking about it, is because you want those people who are homeowners who would be able to call a plumber and pay the bill. So, but what kind of users does Bing have in general? Like when you really broaden it out, what do they got? Bing is the default search engine on PCs. So if you buy a new PC, cool. You have a really good chance that those who don't use Chrome or those who don't use Google services, which those people do exist, then if they go to their computer and they search plumber, then you have a chance of showing up if you were to buy advertising on that platform. Then you've got phones. And let's face it, most of the plumbing queries are done through a phone, not through a computer. Well, that's where things get a little bit trickier because Apple is currently being paid $20 billion by Google in order to make Google the default search engine on iPhones. Then you've got Google, of course, controlling Android. So it's the default search engine, of course, on their own phones. But if I remember right, it's been a while since I rocked one of these, but if I remember right, Samsung might have had Bing used at one point, and there's some other carriers and other phone manufacturers where the default search engine is Bing on some devices. Not very many, but it does exist. So then you got to be considering, well, what kind of person doesn't use Google or doesn't take the time to adjust their settings to use Google naturally? Honestly, it ends up being people who are older, who are less comfortable with technology, who are just not into it, those kinds of people. So that does paint you a customer profile, but that doesn't mean that they're bad customers for you. Not really. The older demographic may be because you can say like, well, they're on fixed income, they can't afford things. If you've got financing, that can help you with that. But there's some dynamics there at play that you should be aware of. So honestly, I think there's going to be some users there. How many in your market is really going to vary depending on where you are at. Because if you're in a really populated zone, cool, you're going to have enough to do some things. And if you're in a sparsely populated area, well, it's just going to be a pittance. And then you come down into, well, do we have time to actually manage this platform? So my agency by default does not do Bing advertising. We've done it in the past. We've done it for some clients who have bigger budgets and need to look for a new source because we're running out of, we're reaching saturation in a spot, but it's not something that we activate right away. And that's largely because you usually end up still in an auction system within Bing's search engine. So think about the dynamics of the platforms. They're search engines, somebody searches something, and the person who's willing to be the highest bidder gets to the top and everybody else falls below in order. Now, there's power in being number two if you've got really good brand recognition in your market. But if you don't have that, you probably need to be number one, and then that's going to be a pricey click. And not all those clicks are going to turn into jobs because you have a fall off of people who click, but they're still exploring, they're still getting credibility about you, which is why your landing page and your website is really important. And then they may or may not fill out the form or call you. Maybe they go back to Bing and they go, well, who's number two? Yeah, well, this company looks better, so I'm going to go after them, right? So these are the dynamics of the psychology at play whenever somebody looks for a plumber. So the energy it takes to manage these platforms, you're either going to pay an agency like mine to manage the platform for you, or you're going to do it yourself. Both are a resource in time or money of whether or not it's going to be worth you doing it. And that is, I think, the biggest thing to watch out for. Because if you find that you are neglecting a zone like Google LSA or search or even Facebook advertising because you're trying to make Bing become this like golden egg for you, it's probably, there's a chance that it could take your focus off of what really matters. And this is also why tracking is really important, so you can get an idea of like what platform is actually doing things we want it to do. So keep all of that in mind. But I think that the other thing that you run into with Bing is, by its nature of less market share, there's a very good chance that you're going to get fewer customers out of the platform with the same amount of work that might go into something like Google. So you end up spending a lot of energy on something with a lower yield anyway. What does this mean as far as like actually using it as a platform? Well, I don't know. I can't tell you. There's so many dynamics involved with advertising and whether or not a platform works for somebody that it's really important for you to do what my PPC lead says, which is there's no right or wrong. There's only testing. And so I think it's really important that you do test, launch these campaigns, see what they do, and just go, well, that was worth it or not. I would do that after you cover the heavy hitters like Google and Facebook, but it might be worth you spending some money over there. Now, for some of you, and these will be exceptions most of the time, you will find that Bing outperforms Google. You're like, well, we spent quite a bit less money over here. The leads are just cheaper, so let's lean into it. And that is perfectly okay. Just because everybody in the industry shouts Google doesn't mean that that is the perfect platform for your business. There's a lot of dynamics at play. Your pricing, your market, your availability, there's your brand reputation, and there's the sheer, this is the one people never think about, the operations of your business. Do you have do you have a call answering service or not, is a big one on whether or not you want to have your ads show. So anyway, think about all these things before you do it, set a budget for it, and then if you feel like you really want to lean into it, sure, give it a shot, but understand that you need to give it a shot for at least 90 days. So if you're going to do something like this, I would prefer you to be thinking about how much money do I want to throw at this in a six-month period before you call it in either direction. Because if you call it too early, you're not giving it the data it needs. And what happens with these platforms is when you launch your campaigns, you launch them and you get data to make your campaigns better. But that doesn't happen in the first month. And the amount of money you're spending is going to be the volume of data you get back, so you can tune the campaign even more. So if you're working with somebody or you are trying to do it yourself, figure out what's sustainable for you from a budget standpoint before you launch into new zones, but give it a good 3 to 6 months. I would prefer 6 before you start running experiments like this. And that's pretty much it for Bing, guys. So if you have any questions about it, by all means, drop it in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed this or you found this useful. And if you want somebody on my team to take a look at your marketing and kind of walk you through some stuff, give you some pointers, we'd be happy to do it. If you go to tylerwilliams.net or mammothforplumbers.com, you can go ahead and schedule a consultation with my crew, and we will kind of we'll have an hour to just like talk to you about your marketing and give you hopefully some really good perspective. And at the tail end of that meeting, yes, we will tell you like, here's the services we offer and here's where we would dovetail into this if it made sense. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to buy anything. I want to be useful before I'm salesy. And you should be thinking about the same way for your customers. Anyway, hope this helps give you some perspective on Bing, and we'll see you for the next one.
Let me tell you the tale of Tyler Williams, the marketing man.
Moon beneath the northern glow, through icy winds and endless snow. One dark night, disaster came, a plumbing failure, a world in shame. Searching online, no ads in sight, no plumber answered in the endless night. The pipes burst wide, the earth gave way. His home was gone, his mother lost. With fists clenched tight to the frozen sky, Tyler made a vow, a marketing cry.
Arise, their name shall stand. I will forge their fate with my own hand.
Tyler Williams, the marketing man, with cosmic power, he built the plan. Fire in his eyes, campaigns in his hand. He builds lost plumbers across the land. From frozen wastes to city skies, plumbers thrive where legends rise. He roamed alone through ice and stone. The Alaskan wilds became his home. He fought off bears with furious might and carved a shelter through the night. But cold winds whispered, his breath ran thin. He stumbled weak, his strength grew dim. Then through the storm, a shadow tall, a mighty mammoth, a titan's call. I am Mark, the marketing mammoth. Tyler, your time has come. I will teach you the cosmic secrets of persuasion and advertising. Ancient marketing magic lost to time. Through my wisdom you shall rise, and the world will always find a plumber in their time of need. Tyler Williams, the marketing man, born of the wild with a mammoth plan. He bends the stars, he shapes the sky. For plumbers lost, he lifts them high. With words like thunder, ads like fire, he turns their dreams into empires. No more shadows, no more doubt. With mammoth power, he pulls builds out. For 35 years through frost and fate, he studied with Mark, making marketing great. He grew 10 feet, his beard turned wild. With mammoth wisdom, no longer a child. His eyes burned green with northern light. His voice could shake the stars at night. Then Mark the mammoth raised his head, and to his pupil this is what he said. Tyler, you have mastered the ancient ways, the lost art of persuasion, the magic of marketing. Your time is now, the world is waiting. Plumbers live in darkness, but you shall be their light.